And welcome everyone to a new video entry for the 2016 box stock build. And welcome to a new project. Welcome to CP101 and welcome to a future project that and welcome everyone to a new project, and we'll be doing one of my favorite subjects, and that is Superstock. And welcome to the Rockford Firebird project, and welcome to the Tom Daniel group build being hosted by Dirk Pitt and I.
Alright, so we're working on the Captain Nelson GTO. I decided to start with the body. It's a nice piece of plastic, as you saw in the earlier video. Very little mold lines. There's two mold lines right about here and here that I already took care of using a little sanding stick that I have. Runs right up, does real good. Still took a lot of work though. All the edges were pretty sharp and kind of rough and flashy. Sharp edges around the windshield frame. Still got a little work in between the grills here. There's some edges that are a little ugly, and of course all the wheel wells need to be worked on too, the running boards. But I got most of it so far. I always found that it's kind of better do a little bit of work, put it down, especially my eyes. I'm having a problem with my eyes lately. It's probably why I haven't been modeling so much. But put it down, come back, and about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes later, give it a look over again and see what I've missed. The other thing I found is that these edges along these body panels here are pretty sharp, so I just took some sandpaper and just lightly going over and just taking that edge off. You know, any edges that are too sharp, the paint's just going to pull away. It's not going to stay there. So you're going to, on a car like this where you're using a blue paint, which I'll get to the color in a minute, you're just going to end up having like a white streak where those sharp points are. So I want to try to take care of those a little bit. So that's where we are. Now the color for the car is a dark midnight blue. So I picked up this duplicate color, dark blue metallic. It's a GM color. It's a very, very nice color actually. The problem with this is that this, if the model's not treated properly with primer and so forth, this paint will melt this because it's so hot when you spray it. I don't understand the characteristics, but it's kind of got it sprays and it gets warm paint, kind of like real car paint. When you first paint it, it's actually warm to the touch, and that's gonna eat away at our plastic. So we got to be careful. And one of the things I did first actually is, before I even did anything to this car, is I did spray paint it with primer first. I used automotive primer, duplicate color primer, inside and out, just in case I got any overspray. Plus, it also highlighted the where I needed to sand. Even though the plastic was already white, it just, I don't know, just kind of makes it a little easier for me to see. So that's what I've been doing, is working on that. And again, this is going to be the color. We're going to work on that too in a little while. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit, give my eyes a break, and then I'll come back and we'll do some more sanding. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some steel wool. I got some really fine steel wool, and I'm going to give it a little brush coat over it, smooth everything out, take down the primer, make sure it's smooth enough for the final priming coat. Go over it again real good, and then we'll get ready for some paint, some nice light color, light passes of paint. So that's where we are. So be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. This piece right here, this section, is a bit of a redo. I was going through my parts box, the AMT GTO box, and I found a whole fret of photo etch from the model car garage, and I went over it, and it's now, that video clip's now missing, so I'm just doing a quick redo. And basically I just wanted to show you guys what it was like in case you haven't seen it before. So this is the piece, the fret number, model car garage 2126, and yes, some of the parts are missing right now because I've been using it, but I wanted you guys to see, if you haven't seen this before, very thin photo etch metal, okay, and it's been laser cut, so you can see how thin, for example, the grills are. You could actually see through. You don't get that kind of detail with styrene. You can see the license plate frames. It's got Pontiac written on the and a Royal Chevrolet or Royal Pontiac, whatever. These are the different parts that are coming with it. Again, the fret was complete. I just started working with it when I realized the parts were gone. The section that you're watching now was gone. So I just wanted to see what it was like in the parts that we have. For example, take this up here. These are the grills for the 67 GTO, right? Actually, I think 66 might have had those too, but those are the different grill inserts. These are the ones we need here for our 65. Nice, thin. You can see through them. You can see right there the paper behind. Yeah. Rear console piece. You got your license plate frame here. You've got a Pontiac key fob. Okay, it's actually got the Pontiac logo and a little ring that you can put the keys on. License plate frames. These, I believe, are vent windows for the air conditioner. I'm not sure what every part is. I have to go to the sheet, but this piece here is very nice with the GTO label on it. They call it for the glove box, but this car that I'm working on didn't have this molding on it, so that's not going to be used. The part missing here is the automatic transmission console. Alright, we're going to put that in our car. That's why it's out right now for fitting. This here is the 4-speed console. Okay, that's what that is. Then we have our accelerator pedals. We've got 2 of them. We've got, I'm not sure what those are, but we've got the GTO badges. GTO, GTO, GTO. We've got the Pontiac emblems. This, as you can tell, is our rear view mirror parts. We got the Pontiac individual lettering for the, I believe that goes on the trunk lid. Keys, if you haven't seen this, there's the keys. I've seen people do it. I don't know that I could do it, but cut these out, clean them up, and then attach them to that ring. More keys here. I'm not sure what those are. Again, more badges. These are the front fender badges. Window cranks, lots of window cranks. These here are the arms for the rear view mirror. Okay, you only need 1, but that's what they are. I guess they're good to give you 2. And I know I need about 6 before I got one right. I'm not sure what these are right here. And these are for the brake and clutch pedal. Alright, but basically that's what the fret looks like. Gives you a lot of detail. And with it, if you haven't seen it, this sheet here comes and it gives you a shadow of all the of most of the parts, and not all the parts, which is kind of funny. They only do certain parts, and then it gives you a parts breakdown here of what they are. Okay, so far to this point I've used the horn ring and I've got the console cut out. That's where we are right now. So, and we've also prepped the body for use of the emblems, fender badges and stuff like that. We're going to get those in place soon too. So again, just thought I'd give you a look at this just in case you haven't seen it. These are all over the interweb. eBay has them. Model Car Garage is the name of the company that makes them. They have a website. You can buy them from there. They range in price. They're usually under $20. I think on average $14 and change, I think. They're great enhancers. They can be very frustrating, but sometimes, just in case, again, if you haven't used them, you sometimes need extra parts or tools to work with these, because they're delicate, and not all the parts are supposed to be two-dimensional and flat like this. So you would have to go out sometimes and get yourself a tool like this. This is called the Bug. What it does is this allows you to bend the photo etch on nice crisp angles and stuff like that. You unscrew this top turns. Once you unscrew it, you can turn it, and you put it down to however to match the part you want to do. You lock your part in place when it's underneath. You use a razor blade, and you fold it to match and angle it, stuff like that. It's a very cool tool, very useful tool. It's about 40 bucks for this one. This is a little one. There are tables that are bigger, but you don't have to have it. It does help for certain parts, especially when you're working with aircraft parts. They tend to be a lot more three-dimensional, making boxes for tanks sometimes, cockpit parts, stuff like that. Car parts, on the norm, tend to be flat, like the grills here, stuff like that. But sometimes you're going to need it to fold it to make it a little bit more authentic. Alright, so that is our photo etch fret from the model car garage. Okay, that was then, and this is now. That first shot that you just saw was taped about, I don't know, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And the Captain Nelson car has been given, I think it was 4 different sprayings, 4 different attempts, and each one failed miserably. And what had failed on it, I guess it was the time, but I got it to where I pretty much wanted it, and then I go to do that last coat, very light mist coat over top of it, and then it would do, I don't know if it was a made-up word or I heard it somewhere else, but I called it crazing. And what it would do is I had a nice shiny car body, and then there was hazing all over different spots and stuff like that. I called it crazing for some reason, and I believe it might be due to the humidity at the time of the painting, but it was just that last spray, and each time I did it 3-4 times, that last final coat, I didn't learn my lesson and did it, and it screwed up the paint. So this car has been in the bag with oven cleaner, easy off oven cleaner, like I said, 3-4 times, and after that last time, I called it quits. I closed the book on it, and I think if I had some M80s at the time, this would be blown to obliterated. But lucky I didn't, because now it's back on the bench. And it seems that either I forgot or I didn't have them at the time, but I didn't have the photo etch I showed you earlier, because come on, focus, the badges are still there. So in cleaning this up, I went and I started removing the badges. So the badges removed from here, the badges removed from down here. Like I said, I still got some cleaning to do, but it's coming along. The panel lines, the trunk lines, are very thin in this kit. I've almost obliterated them, and I had to scribe them, and to do that, I started with this really neat and overpriced gouging tool, but it didn't do it well. This thing goes all over the place. So all I did is I took, these really sharp tweezers I have. These are surgical tweezers, a very sharp point, and I just put them into the groove like such, and I just pulled them through, and I just slowly did that over and over again until the trunk lines reappeared. And I'll do some more of that too, and then I'll sand it, I'll smooth it out. Same thing with the doors here. They started to disappear, and with the amount of coats that I've been using, they will definitely disappear, so I have to be careful. So that's where we are now. I hope I can resurrect this body to a point that it'll work, because being a dark color, also all the flaws are going to show. So I got to be careful. So I got to get in here, clean up some of this stuff here, and again get started on this side. See if I can't clean this up real good and get back on track with this. So stay tuned.